All right, let's try it now. Woo! I'm telling you. So I'm uploading a video on YouTube for later on this week, and YouTube keeps telling me it's a duplicate video. And I was like, I didn't upload it before, and it's just I don't know, crazy stuff happening. But anyway, I'm here. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. Sorry about the delay. Like I said, just craziness. All right, so let's do this. Good morning, everyone. All right, I'm glad. I'm guessing everyone can hear me. All right, so let's do this. You're the first people I've spoken to today. Let's see. Good, I'm glad you can hear me. Sorry, let's get this done. Okay, here it is. Sorry, I don't know why this is going so slow today. All right, here we go. Jenna Acolyte, have you seen Fordo's newest EU video dealing with the Legends movement, Twin Suns, and the expanded universe as a whole? Yeah, I saw that someone put the link. I tried watching it, but it's an hour and 20 minutes too long. I'm not really a big fan of long videos. I'm sure it's good. Whatever it is, I'm sure it's good, but I didn't have time to watch it. Also, do you wish more was done with certain locations in Star Wars like Barkesh from Rogue Squadron and Lihan from KOTOR? Yes, definitely. That was one thing that kind of bothered me with the EU in general, is that they never went back to some of these planets. I mean, sure, some of them were mentioned, some of them they did go back to, but I thought there was tons of planets. Couldn't they go back and visit the same ones over and over again? I mean, wouldn't that make sense? But they hardly ever did. I'm gonna pronounce the name wrong. Callum Jones. Actually, you're on this Q&A. I think I saw your name on here. It says, do you see inconsistency between Shadows of the Empire novel and the game? And it looks like someone already responded to that one, that the game is really not canon, it's secondary canon. Like the events happen, but not exactly as you play them. So, and also, have you noticed a bit of character difference with Zuckuss between his possible futures? You're referring to his story from Tales of the Bounty Hunters and the Mandalorian armor. I find it interesting and chalk it up to character development between those two times. Yeah, and the Bounty Hunters, he has this great storyline, and then we don't hear anything else from him, and there's not much of Zuckuss and 4-LOM, who I really enjoy. I think they're really good, but there's nothing else from them. And you're right. In fact, I would love to have seen more of Zuckuss, because I like Zuckuss. I liked where his story was going. If you didn't know, he was joining the rebellion. Is it a character change for him? Well, I guess, but not really, because we don't get to see the aftermath of that story. Do you know what I don't know if that makes sense, but I do agree with you. You know, it is kind of, it feels like it's unfinished business, and I think that's maybe what you're saying here. But I agree if that's what you're saying. I wish we could have seen more. Just one of the million things I wish we could have seen more. Tony says, hey Matt, how do you feel about the Mets having more lifetime losses to the Pirates than wins? Oh, Tony, you're a jerk. Josh Farr, how would you rank all the Star Wars young adult novels from least favorite to favorite? Josh, I'll be doing all of that when I finish my review through the expanded universe. I plan to do all my top 5, you know, favorite novels, favorite comics, favorite children's books, and stuff like that. Most underrated characters, and I'm hoping to make lists like that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. What do you think of my theory? George Lucas didn't order the death of Chewbacca and Anakin Solo. It was Russian bots. Well, yes. According to Rian Johnson, that is probably true. I'm reading the New Jedi Order at the moment, still on the Dark Tide. So I just wondered, what are your favorite books in the series? Oh, man. I think I answered this question once. I thought Star by Star was the best book of them all. But there's obviously one I just realized that you won't like. But there's a lot of good ones in that series. I'll just say this. I can't wait to review that series. I think it's a fantastic series. How do you think an interaction between Episode 8, Luke, Jake Skywalker, and Kip Durn would go? Okay, I'm assuming you're meaning the movie Luke Skywalker. Well, Kip would actually beat, Last Jedi Luke Skywalker, because Luke Skywalker probably quit and walk away, halfway through the battle. How do you keep your hardbacks in such good condition? I don't know. I just do. Even my paperbacks, actually, I've had my paperbacks for decades from the time they came out. And the first time I ever got a paperback was Timothy Zahn's Heir to the Empire. And I tore that paperback up after reading it, and I noticed the spine was all creased, and I hated that. And I was like, man, I ruined this book. So now, well, let me get you a, oh, here. You like my Batman pants? All right, here we go. Look at that. This is the original printing of X-Wing Rogue Squadron. And if you notice, there's no creases on this. And I've read it. But when I read a book, a paperback book, I read it like this. I kind of like flower it open, but I keep the spine flat. I do this to all the paperbacks. And that way, they don't look run down and beat up. Now, there are a few paperbacks with like one crease in them because maybe I open it up too much. Like I see the second book has one lone crease in it, but I mean, a lot of these, that spine's in good condition. It's like I'm a book chiropractor protecting them spines. It's totally cheesy. All right, let's see. Michael, favorite character development from DC and Marvel. DC, anything in the 90s dealing with Batman, No Man's Land, Nightfall. Oh gosh, there's a lot of them that I love. Batman versus Predator. Marvel, I thought about this, and the only two that come to my head right now are Frank Miller and Brian Michael Bendis's Daredevil. Those would be my two. What will you be? What will you be doing years later in 2019 to 2020 to keep the Twin Suns Foundation campaign going and moving along? Since it's been over 5 years now, and the expanded universe keeps on rolling through. Twin Suns is a great charity. I think they'll keep going on for many a year. And I do hope, I'm not, by the way, I do not speak for Twin Suns when I say this, but I do hope that we'll be raising funds to do another billboard after episode 9. I think that would be a great idea. The trilogy is over, and they said after the trilogy, they'll think about it. Now, honestly, folks, they were lying about that. They just thought after those movies, we would go away. So I would like to show them that we're still here. I think that'd be great. We're getting lost in the commotion of the Last Jedi haters. Those aren't really our friends. Now, I understand there are people who have issues, and that's fine. I hate it for them, but they're not defenders of the EU. So we've been their voice has been louder than ours lately. Not that we need to be complaining and everything too. I'm just saying it's going to be really sweet if we can fund another billboard and post it up there and go, hi, we're still here. I think that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Because they've forgotten about us. It's the Last Jedi haters is who their prime target and attention, the media's attention, and the fandom's attention is going to right now. Not that I mind that. Tell us more about the Missile Defense Agency science program, which was dubbed Star Wars for numerous reasons. And what are your thoughts on Space Force? Well, heck, Space Force, go for it. And the actual Star Wars from the Reagan era, I love that idea. I loved it. And then later on, growing up, I realized how good an idea that was, and we should have continued it. Will you work for Lucasfilm Leadership Headquarters if you had the opportunity? I mean, I guess I don't know what I would do for them, but yeah, that'd be great. But I don't think I'm leaning their way on ideas that they would take me. What kind of Star Wars books will you want to write, or do I won't write it in the future to keep the expanded universe going? There's sort of the Jedi trilogy waiting. What are your other options for expanding universe? I mean, I did a video on this, Michael, about 2 years ago. I think it was Yub Nubs, Not So Scary Halloween or whatever. We talked about what I would do if I was in charge of the EU. I would definitely finish off the story of the main three, Luke, Leia, and Han. And I would have maybe the Hutts come back as a big villain, threatening the galaxy again, because I think they have their finger in everything. They'd be great. I would the Anzadi storyline, the Snot Vampires, with that Troy Denning told me about. I would definitely let him write that story. I would continue the search for Abeloth, the knife of oh gosh, it's been a while. Knife of Destiny, whatever it was. I'm sorry. I had the idea in my head when I saw this question. Anyway, I would finish off that story. We'd also have to wrap up that lost tribe of the Sith that's still out there. There's tons of stories to tell, but that's what I would focus on, to be honest. I mean, I would want to do things like what, Force Unleashed 3 or something, you know. So I would like to tie up little things as well throughout the series, but I'd focus on the, you know, after Crucible storyline and work my way to connect it to the legacy comic books. Hey Matt, Luke from the old canon goes up against Luke from the new canon. Who would win in a lightsaber duel? Well, Luke from Last Jedi would quit halfway into it. Brendan, the zombie apocalypse has begun. What do you do? I blame the Russian bots. That's what I do. Wicked Warwick says, if Star Wars Legends continues, do you think Legends could continue as movies and TV series? I do not think it would. Or will it continue as books and comics? I would like to hope it would. That books and comics seem more probable than TV series. So do you think Star Wars Legends books and comics can be adapted to movies and a TV series? Sure. I think that's what they're already doing, though. They're taking so much material from Legends for their new movies that I wouldn't be surprised if it popped up in their TV shows, too. Do you think the Star Wars Underworld live action series could be made and have a Legends brand? No. Again, some of these questions look. And do you think George Lucas, even if George Lucas doesn't come back, which I think is a total rumor, do you think it's possible that if number 9 bombs, Kennedy could be fired and doesn't stay at Lucasfilm for 3 years of her contract? To be honest. And then he goes on to ask if they would decanonize the new canon and restart all over again. They could do that, but it still wouldn't be Legends. They still want to go in their own different direction. The only hope you have for Legends is it continuing as its own canon, as would be perfect. I think if 9 bombs, Kennedy steps down, she retires. If she does it on her way, they're not going to fire her. There's no way they fire her. Dark Novia just recently bought a complete collection of original Star Wars Marvel comic books and hardcovers. Oh, Dark Novia, those are nice, aren't they? I've seen them. How much of these stories are considered C canon? All of them. All of them. As you notice, I've been mentioning all of them in my review, and even the ones post Jedi that I haven't gotten to yet. Jason Fry covers and Guide to Star Wars Warfare, which was really brilliant. Really brilliant. I remember I did a long time ago, before I started doing my EU reviews, I reviewed the guides, and Star Wars the Guide to Warfare was one of the most interesting and surprisingly good guides for me. And when he kind of told you about the Nagai War, or what he called the Forgotten War, it just made perfect sense. So it's really cool how they moved all that into canon. And it was almost all in just a few years. They decided to, instead of nitpick it. I'm just curious, Matt, why do you hate reboots so much? Because they suck? That's why. I don't like reboots, if we're talking movies here, Dark Novi. I don't like reboots because they already made a perfect movie. Why reboot it? Why start over again? I don't know if there's an example that you could give me. You could say, Matt, Star Wars The Dark Knight. You got to admit that was a great film. Yeah, it was good. But you know what? I would have rather have had back in the day more Michael Keaton, Tim Burton. I mean, to be honest, I was happy with the Joker in the first movie. Not to say they can't make another one, and they'll reboot movies all the time. I was happy with the original Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man had a terrible story and had good actors. The new Spider-Man, he's okay. You know, I mean, reboots are going to happen. What's the reboot that I thought was better than the original? This is wild. Dawn of the Dead in 2003. My buddy Bruce from Prince of the Universe dragged me to the theater. I did not want to see that. He wanted to see it. I love the original movie. And I was like, nothing beats the original. That movie did. So there are times where I do enjoy reboots. But for the most part, look at the reboots. Are you going to show your children the new Ghostbusters? Okay, you know. Terminator 6. Do I have any interest in Terminator 6? Which it's going to be called something else, but I know what you meant. Despite being a reboot, I'm not going to go see it. I'm not going to go see it. I've been a big fan of the Terminator series, but Terminator Genesis just showed me they had nowhere else to go with the series. You know, saying, well, Matt, hold on, James Cameron, this is going to wipe out all the movies except for 1 and 2. Yeah, it didn't work well for Halloween. I didn't see it, but a lot of people complained about it. But I don't know. I don't like this. I don't like just the reboot. If they told a story, stick with it, build on top of it, or move on. Find me a new story. There's tons of better new stories coming out than reboots. Favorite Marvel DC storylines? Boom. Answered that question earlier. But I'm glad you guys are asking comic book questions. That's kind of cool. Brendan says size matters not, but size has a matter at a certain point, doesn't it? True. Brendan also says, assuming we don't blow ourselves up or something, when humanity is more technologically advanced than Star Wars, will people still be interested? Sure. Classic films still get watched, even though we far exceeded those films technologically wise. Robert says, you're my source for the expanded universe debate, man. Keep it up. Hey, thank you. Official Ray Blitz says, I was browsing Joe Bongiorno's Star Wars Timeline website, and I happened to come across some very interesting theory. Well, of course, it's Joe. He's super interesting. Joe had an idea of the Ventress and Filoni's Clone Wars being a clone of the original Ventress. And then you said you took the liberty by elaborating on it by saying that Asajj was cloned by Dooku during the Obsession comic book. And, you know, what do you think about that? I mean, yeah, it's interesting. But I do want to point out that Joe has a ton of those ideas that are really good because Joe, I've said this before, both Joe and Rich, whenever I talk about them, they like to take puzzle pieces and connect them. When I try to do that, it's with a hammer and glue all over the place. Like I'm not really that brilliant to come up with a great idea to make them fit. But however, Rich and Joe constantly do this. Joe gave me another one that it was good. I don't buy it, but he wanted to tie in the Legends and the new canon by using Other Space from West End Games. Now, anyone familiar with West End Games says, oh, holy cow, you could actually do that because we actually know there are parallel universes thanks to Other Space. But Joe went into a lot of detail. He's seriously, the guy's super smart, and a lot of his ideas and theories really make a lot of sense. But honestly, that's what he gets paid to do, man. Connect the pieces, and he's really good at it. All right, John, and then I'll get to your live questions here. It seems we're extremely oversaturated with Star Wars right now between all the films and TV coming out, Star Wars overload. However, despite how huge the EU was with the frequency of all its books, comics, and games were released, it somehow feels like it never felt like oversaturation. It kept itself on a leash, reserving the sacred spot for George Lucas's saga. I suppose the material is written for more for fans, whereas the film and TV shows are written more for the general public. Do you know what I mean? Have you had similar feelings? No, John, because I haven't paid attention to anything coming out Star Wars. However, you probably are right. They're probably slinging that stuff out 9-0. I think it feels like that. But were there times where they slung out a ton of stuff during the prequel era? Yes. But the thing was, we were happy. I think that's the big reason. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. Next question by John. Do you ever find yourself having to explain what sort of Star Wars fan you are to the new people you meet? And he goes into saying, hey, do you have to explain to them? No, I'm not. I like the Star Wars EU. Basically, John, this is what I tell them. They say, oh, do you love Star Wars? Because they see my Star Wars book. Sometimes they come over or they hear me talk about it. They say, oh, so you love Star Wars. I went, well, they wrote a bunch of books before Disney took over. And it had this great storyline that took place like after the movies, before the movies, in between the movies. I said, and that those books are fantastic. And that's what I'm a fan of. And I just leave it at that. Like I said, I really don't watch any of the new stuff. But then you can get them interested in the EU because like, well, good stories like what? And I say, oh man, there's great story. And if they want to start reading, I always generally say, go with Timothy Zahn, even though I would even tell them go with Trusa Bakura because I think that would be a great novel to start at. But is it as great as Thrawn's trilogy? Probably not. So they probably have to start there because I'd want them to get hooked. I would love for them to start in some chronological order, but I think I'd like them to get hooked first. I think Zahn's Thrawn trilogy is the first one to do that. All right, so what is the plan for 2020 when the Del Rey license expires and as does EA's contract with Lucasfilm? I worry about the Old Republic MMO being shut down, and I also worry about our window of salvation regarding the novels closing. The Old Republic will still keep going as long as it makes money. If it stops making money, they'll shut it down. As for us, what's our last chance? It's fair to say, people don't want to hear it, but it is fair to say that 2020 is it. Once the last movie comes out, we get that billboard out. That's really our last, Hail Mary there, in my opinion. Because I think it's a great idea. Shows them we're still out there in a big impact. Because I have a feeling Episode 9 will underperform at the box office. It'll make tons of money, but it will not meet expectations or happy expectations of Disney. And then we have that sign come out right afterwards. Ooh, that we have a chance of them trying something new and giving us Legends books. But if they ignore that one, I don't know, with all the hate coming out on the new movies, they're really our voice is not being heard from all the other upset fans. But anyway, Matt, you're one of the happiest guys I've ever seen. What's your secret? Wheaties. I'm kidding. What's my secret? No worries. No worries. Always good. Always good times. That's probably why, to be honest. Super happy. I never stress about anything else. Never have to either. All right, so here we go. I'm reading over your new comments now. Wow. Okay. Look at this. Hello, Canada. Still reading. What is your favorite Christmas movie or special? Well, obviously that's the Star Wars I'm kidding. What's my favorite Christmas movie? Oh, The Grinch. Jim Carrey's The Grinch. I watch it every year. Another one I can't wait to see. I'm just waiting to have a few friends over. I want to watch Jim Henson's The Christmas Toy, which is where Disney or Pixar ripped off the idea of Toy Story. I love Toy Story. I think Toy Story is great. But The Christmas Toy is an old Jim Henson movie that is almost beat for beat Toy Story. Almost. You can tell they just took the idea and just flipped it here and there. And then I also want to watch Krampus again. I forgot to watch it last year, and I think it's a fantastic movie. If you love Gremlins, it's like the new version of Gremlins in a way. For me, it is. Were the Hoojies in the New Jedi Order? I remember seeing some creatures that looked like them. I don't think they were. If they were, I think I would have known. I don't think Hoojibs were in the New J order, but I love me some Hoojibs. Ever thought of doing a top 50 EU characters? Woo, Jimmy, that is ambitious. Top 50, I would get them mixed up. Like there's a ton of them I love, but to rank all of them, I could probably rank a top 10. Let's see. Dark Phoenix. Would I have liked to see a pro-Republic, pro-Empire conflict interest explored in more depth? And which author would you like to have? Yes. Ooh. Which author? James Luceno? Maybe. For some reason, I'm thinking James Luceno for that. I'm trying to go off the beaten path of my favorite writers like Troy Denning, Kevin J. Anderson, Dave Wolverton. Let's go. Oh, Dave Wolverton would be actually good. Let's go with Dave Wolverton. Would I like to do more character reviews on the channel? Maybe after I'm done. Who knows? How do I think, Quantum says, how do I think the galaxy would have fared if the Vong arrived during the Clone Wars instead of post-Jedi? Ooh. They wouldn't have survived. There would have been too much division. They would have taken over the galaxy at that point. What is one period, this is Dark Phoenix, what is one period in the EU that you think was sufficiently covered and that you would like to have seen more of? And which EU authors would you like to have done the best job with it and why? I think I already covered what era I'd like to post Jedi after Crucible era. And to be honest, the people I would pick would be Stackpole, Anderson, and Denning. That'd be my trilogy. I'd throw Wolverton in there too. I think he's fantastic. I throw Kathy Tyers in there. I think she's good. James Luceno, I think, is good. Drew Karpyshyn specializes in Old Republic, so I keep him for that. But I do think he's good as well. What do I think about Netflix canceling Daredevil? Yeah, our podcast, we predicted that Daredevil would be canceled, I think, but it didn't happen at that time, and now it has. I think they're all canceling. Well, I think I said this in the podcast. They're canceling all these shows because Disney's getting their own streaming, and I think Disney's going to bring back some of those shows for their streaming service. I think they would. Bruce says no. Bruce thinks they'll do new superheroes like Moon Knight and stuff. But I think they'll pick up things like Daredevil and maybe do a Heroes for Hire show with those characters. I think they would do that. Did you watch the Harry Potter movies? Actually, I just recently did. And if so, what was the last one like? Oh no, we haven't seen the last one yet. The missus has been reading through them and then she stopped on 7. I need to get her to read that one. Oh, you totally reminded me we have not watched the last movie. Oh man. Okay. For me, the last one, Goblet of Fire was a great one. That's probably the best one. I just feel like it started to become horrendous cash grab nonsense. Probably so. You're probably right. I remember that was the best one. But we haven't rewatched The Deadly Hollows. Thanks for reminding me about that. Have you watched DBZ Abridged? And what do you think? No, I have not. DBZ Abridged. No, I have not. What are your reactions? Oh, wait. I answered that one. Yeah, I think Column, I hope I'm saying the name right. Column Johns said, do you think the billboard would be successful even though the first one was misinterpreted? Yes, I think so. I would like to do something a little bit different, you know. But yes, I think it would be good. Plus, it was so cool to see that billboard up there. What do you think about Boba Fett having an artificial leg and tells the bounty hunters? Oh, at the end, I can't remember if he did or not. I mean, that's fine. It makes sense that he'd be old and he'd replace parts on himself. Would you ever read a Disney EU book just to see how it is? Not really. I got tons of other things to do with my free time, and wasting it is not one of the things I want to do. And that would feel like a waste to me. I've got other books to read. I actually just finished the new Firefly novel. Really good stuff. Really enjoyed that. Um, do you think there should have been more land battles? And this is what Rob asked. In the Yuuzhan Vong War, I mean, I would have loved it, but they don't have time to do everything. There was a few land battles on there, but not as many, I guess, as you would like. But I thought they were good. Matt, Joey McLeod of the Clan McLeod says, Matt, do you collect the Black Series figures? I don't collect them all. I do have a few of them, mainly the EU ones. Even though I still have not picked up Jaina. You reminded me of so many things now. I was gonna get her, and then I can't remember what happened. I thought I ordered her. I have to look into that. I don't have Jaina, but that's what I want. I would love Dark Phoenix. I'd love to see a New Jet Order series on Netflix. Holy cow, that would be great, wouldn't it? Quantum says that he thinks the problem with the new canon is everything feels so small, and that's true because they don't want to do anything big. They can't. They don't play. They play small. They try to play safe, and it inhibits good storytelling. Now, Colin Jones says I don't think they need to make things dark, really dark and gritty. Yeah, but there are times where I do enjoy that. I agree. I don't think every story should be dark and gritty. I agree with that, but I like I like when they do get dark and gritty. Are you ever going to reveal your favorite Adventure Journal short story? Spencer, you know what? That'll be a good top 10. My top 10 short stories. All right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Did I lose it? Lost it. All right, hold on, hold on. Lost where I was. Bosk also had some inconsistencies in the EU between Marvel Comics and Bounty Hunter Trilogy, especially during the Clone Wars. They're a little bit more friendly. Yeah, probably so. You're right. My Star Wars says, I have a question for you. Many people criticize the EU because it had overpowered characters like Grandmaster Luke. But personally, I disagree. What's your opinion? Yeah, I mean, Grandmaster Luke is Luke reaching his full potential. I don't, sure, he's overpowered, but he's gonna be like Yoda. I mean, when he gets old enough, and Luke's the chosen one. I mean, well, the son of the chosen one, so it makes sense that he has a lot of power. Other than that, they can't really talk about anyone else. Okay, overpowered people, they can't. So it's a weak argument for someone to have. So I disagree with it. Ooh, 8080 says which Tales trade paperback comics are worthwhile? All of them? That's hard. I mean, because they're like bits and pieces that are good. And overall, I hate Tales, Star Wars Tales, the comic book. And some of them weren't even considered canon. So I don't even review some of them because they weren't even considered canon. And it's getting hard because we don't have the Star Wars forums anymore to tell me, but I'm just going off what I remember them, because we would ask every time a Tales came out on the forums, we say, okay, this one's obviously non-canon, this one's not canon, and every once in a while, I think Leland Chi would get on there and say, okay, yeah, these were canon in the new issue or whatever. But again, I'm going off this mind, which is not really, 100% trustworthy for stuff that's so far long ago. Jimmy Owens said, "What should I read after the Throne trilogy?" To be honest, Jimmy, my opinion, Truce of Pakura, and then go through the Bantam timeline, and then continue on. That's me. Of course, if you're a prequel fan, the Old Republic books by Drew Karpyshyn are really good. That's not prequels. Well, trying to think, but I like a lot of the post Jedi stuff personally. Do you like the 1980s comic book Teen Titans? I haven't read it. DC Titans is okay, but Robin is the only interesting thing in that series. I've really gotten bored with the series except for Robin. Do I find Ahsoka Tano to be a one-note character? Definitely. I really don't like her character. Not an Ahsoka fan. A lot of people are. I'm not. Do you think Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, is that his name? I don't think that's his name. I think his name is Matthew. Oh no, Jeremy. Jeremy, that is his name, from Geeks and Gamers, focuses too much on negativity. He recently had to take back his comments for the new animated shorts after he shat on Lucasfilm for minutes. Yeah, that dude from Geeks and Gamers, he does that just to get views. Is what he does. He rant. Everyone loves a rant. Everyone loves a rant, and so he knows that's what gets his viewership up, and he will rant about anything. So I don't know him personally. Maybe I need to meet him and talk to him, but from what I see, he's just trying to get numbers. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with trying to make a career on YouTube. But I mean, look at the dude. He's trying to sell his new T-shirt. How upset is he? I'm sure he's upset about the new movie, but I don't think he would continue harping about Star Wars if it didn't get hits on his channel. I mean, to be honest, if I want to still get tons of hits, why don't I just sit here and just tear apart the new canon? Oh man, those videos. Whenever I talk about the new canon, everyone watches my videos. I get 3 times the amount of views. Ooh, maybe I should start making. Then I'll get more subscribers. Ooh, but the point is, I want to make videos that I want to do. I don't want to make videos that necessarily are going to be popular. I don't look at things going, okay, what's something that everyone's going to want to see? Growing the channel, trying to make a living off of YouTube is not that's not my end game. I do this for fun. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with someone who wants to do it for profit. But Jeremy obviously does it for profit. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's what he does. Okay. No, thanks for clearing that up, Dark Phoenix. I got you. Michael asked if I've read the Throne trilogy comic books. No. And some of my reviews I've already told y'all. Like, what was the last one? Splinter in the Mind's Eye. I know there's the comic book, but I don't care about it because I read this book. And the comic book's going to be just a version of the book. I mean, but Matt, it has this extra page scene in there. Yeah, not really interested in the comic book version of a movie or a book. That's just me. '80 John Whitman is a fantastic guy. I wish I could meet him. All right, hold on. Okay, thank you, Captain Wilhelm. He says right now Netflix is going to keep all their shows, and Disney's not going to have any R-rated content. And then when they find out viewers want that, they're going to start putting parental controls on it and putting it out. I don't know anything about a Mandalorian TV show with George Lucas. so I can't comment on that. Oh, 8080, you have an extra Jaina. Thank you. I don't know what I could trade. I don't know what I swear I ordered that. I swear I ordered that a long time ago. I'll have to look into this. I don't have it though. I know I don't have it. I've got Revan. I've got 2 Revans, but I don't have that one. I don't know. I don't know what happened to that. I have to look into that. That's bothering me now. Matt, is Yubnub all right? He's been away for a while. He's good. He's sitting there kind of sleeping. He's getting ready for his holiday special, which I'll tell you this right now. I'm going to oh, it's so bad. I'm in a Christmas show right now, and I'm hardly in it, but I thought I'd do some video on it. But then I thought about like I do videos about the Mardi Gras parade here, and I make fun of it. And I was gonna do that with the video, but then I realized I got some good friends in there. I don't want people thinking that I'm dissing the show. But I'm hoping to get some of my performance in there, and I want to do something special. At first, I thought, well, I can get away with wearing my Ewok gold chain I have, but then you wouldn't see that in the video. And so I was thinking, what can I do? I can't hold up a sign during the performance, but maybe shout out something as I'm going down the aisle to the camera. I have to go walk down the aisle and point out and say hello to people at the beginning because we're on a riverboat. It's like a riverboat Christmas theme. And I thought about just putting a little bit of that in for Yubnub's holiday special. But I don't know. I don't know. I've only got one more performance that I'm going to be a part of, and that's tomorrow. So, and I forgot my camera last night, which was a bad night anyway because we were shorthanded and I had to leave and do Spotlight. But yeah, we're coming up with ideas for Yubnub's holiday special. I was going to do a lot of stuff today, but it's raining. It's been raining since yesterday. It's just torrential downpour. Do you know where Max Channel says, do you know where I can find the old Clone Wars timeline so I can read it in the best way? The the best way, maybe StarWarsTimeline.net. Maybe. Even though, and this is no fault for Joe. Joe likes it this way, but I don't like how he breaks up, like, okay, read the first 2 chapters of this book and then read chapters 7 and 8, read all these short stories, then chapters. He's not doing it in reading order, I should say. He's doing it in timeline order, and he's very meticulous, and a lot went into making that. But I wish someone had a reading order, in the timeline. Max, you can just binge watch my channel, my playlist for the EU. And maybe, as best I know how, I gave you all your Clone Wars stories together in one timeline. Because as far as I know, not to toot my own horn, I think I'm the only one doing the timeline in reading order. Not an actual timeline. Because as you know, I've had to do like, okay, here's the movie. Now here's all the stories that happen in between, or here's a bunch of stories that happen around here. And then you got to go back in places when kind of in here, but then it shoots over here. I'm the only one doing it in reading order. I think so. So buy my t-shirt. Subscribe. Hit like. Smash that like button. Watch me do an unboxing. Watch me do a garbage haul. Watch me give my first reaction on this trailer. I don't know why I'm making stupid faces. Let's see. Dark Phoenix asks, are there any cliches or stereotypes in a story that will just ruin the experience for you? Oh, doggone it. I missed everything again. Yes, there are. I hate the unnecessary strong characters that have no background experience, like the scientist. Like here's the thing: in the new Predator, the scientist girl, she's afraid, she's shaking, she's hiding, in the shower area from the Predator. And then I liked it because she jumped on that bus, she shot herself in the foot, knocked herself out. Thought that was funny. But then all of a sudden, that's the last clumsy thing she does. Right? She's better than any military person they have. And you're like, whoa, whoa, is this woman special forces? Because we were introduced to her as a scientist. I hate that. I hate that. Well, we need to make her strong. Why? Because strong women in movies. Well, yeah, but they either get that way through a story arc or they have some background. They can't be like super agent man. The same thing with a guy. If he starts off as a weak guy and then all of a sudden can do everything, like Luke couldn't do everything in A New Hope. He studied a little bit. It took him a trilogy to get better, but in like 2 minutes, you went from 0 to 100. I hate that. My Star Wars, I'll talk about iJedi when I get there. There's a lot of things. Obviously, I'm a Stackpole fan. Obviously, I'm not a first person writer fan. So, what happens when these two worlds collide? Everyone wants to know that, but don't worry, I'll review about that. Is Anakin out of character? How Zahn rid him? I don't. I didn't feel so, but to be honest, if I reread it again, probably because I know I dumped on a lot of Zahn books saying I felt like a lot of his characters, the prequel books he wrote, were out of character. So is it possible that I'm assuming you're talking about oh goodness, Outbound Flight, that Anakin was out of character? Maybe I didn't notice because he and Obi-Wan are hardly in it till like the last half, but maybe. How do I envision the Clone Wars before the prequels? I always envision it as the clones being the enemy. I think like a lot of other people did. Like there were these clones, and it was like Terminator, Rise of the Machines. So it was Rise of the Clones, and they started going crazy and killing people. Um, something like Blade Runner. The replicas are going bad. Would I like to see more stories focused around Black Suns? Oh, yeah. Their perspective, not people fighting against them. Yes, yes. I think that'd be awesome. Colin Jones says, I don't think it's worth the mental capacity to focus on negativity. Agreed. Agreed. I'm very sarcastic at times too. I've been negative too, but that's not my focus. To have more faith in the Boba Fett Star Wars Christmas holiday special, I guess. I don't know. All right, where are we? Uh what do I think about Catan, Explorers and Pirates? Wow, I can't even read that name, but yes, I love Catan. Actually, tomorrow. Oh wait, tonight. Today's Saturday. It's board game day, board game night. For board game night, one of the things, one of few, we're playing a few new games that I just got in, probably 2 or 3 new games, and I'm gonna play another. I got a game called Santa's Workshop. It's a Christmas themed game. We are definitely playing that. And then I'm thinking about playing some Catan, but I'm going to play the Santa Claus mini scenario. I do enjoy Explorers and Knights. I think it's good. If I was to rank all of my Catans, expansions, Traders and Barbarians, I still love, with Seafarers close behind, and then Explorers and Pirates right behind that one. And then Cities and Knights is last. My gaming group loves Cities and Knights. That's one of their favorites, and it's a majority of people's favorites, but for me, I just never got into it as much. I'll still play it because it's Catan. That made me excited. I forgot about board game night. Skywalkers is a good short story, Jimmy. That's on Joe's site. That was actually fun. Abel G. Pena. It was supposed to be released and it never did. That's a lot. That's some of that unpublished material that I will talk about. I'll talk about that in a Matt chat. That's actually a good idea for a Matt chat. Did I ever read a book or comic book where I thought a certain character was out of character? Says my Star Wars. Yeah, you know, I've already talked about that with Zolin's books. Comic book wise, it's really hard to judge a comic book because a lot of times, yes, in the comic book they don't act like their character, but then they only had a one shot or a 4-part series where they were in it here and there. I feel it's a little unfair to say that in a comic book, but you could state a case that comic books do have people out of character. But whenever I feel that way, I always say that in my review. I said that in my review of Timothy Zahn's books. I thought a lot of his, Han Solo, Lando were out of character. A lot of them. It may have been just me because a lot of people enjoyed those books. But for me, I kept thinking that this is not Luke. This doesn't feel like Luke. I remember thinking that, but maybe it was because I was so entrenched with how the Luke in the regular series was that I didn't really feel that taking a step backwards with the character fit well. And that could have been it. That could have been the reason why I feel like he didn't feel like Luke, because I was so used to, reading about Jedi Master Luke, that when we're going back to rookie Luke, I'm going, it's hard to tread backwards on a character who's always been who has already been so greatly developed before. Colin Jones, what do I think about the creepiness Zizor had toward Leia and Shadows of the Empire? Yeah, the first time I read that, I was like, wait, what? That did not feel like it should be in Star Wars at all. It was unnecessary. And I hope Steve Perry regrets it now. Do I have any Star Wars chess sets? Says Rob D. You know what? No, I don't. But I said I let go of my chess set. I didn't. I found it. And my little plastic piece chess set that I just love. I've never played before because no one will play chess with me. But no, I don't have any Star Wars kinds. I should look and see what they have. I'm sure they have some great ones. The coolest one I've ever seen, I think, was the Batman one. It's only worth like $500, but it looked really cool. You've binged on my videos, Max. Well, I feel sorry for you. But seriously, I'm the one doing it in reading order, I feel. Prequel trilogy versus the original trilogy. Which one do you think is better? Michael, I think the original trilogy is better. That's just me. People who grew up with the prequel trilogy, kids, are going to love that one better, and that's fine. But for me, it was the original trilogy all the way. Anyone's going to say that who's 30 years or older, you'll probably agree with me. Any younger, you'll probably say the prequels. What, says Brandon, is your favorite Star Wars board game? What is my favorite Star Wars board game? That would be Star Wars: A Queen's Gambit. Really love Queen's Gambit. I think it's phenomenal. You can't get it anymore. It costs way too much now. But if you buy the new Star Wars Risk, I hear it's a mini version of Queen's Gambit. A lot of people like Star Wars Risk, and that's because they never played Queen's Gambit, which is unbelievable. Love it. Have you seen the Barnes & Noble exclusive versions of the Han Solo and original trilogy series? Yeah, you think they should make more trilogies like that? Yes, I agree. I think that hardback, that 3-in-1 hardback you're talking about with the Millennium Falcon on it, I think that's really nice. I really do enjoy that. What do you personally think of Padme as a character? She's kind of, man. I mean, I thought Natalie Portman did a good job portraying her. I enjoyed her. I thought I thought she was good. People say, well, she was kind of bland in the first movie. Yeah, but she had to be because she was the queen, and then slowly had that character turn that she did. I think she's good. In the EU, she is widely ignored because that was off limits. It was off limits to talk about Han and Leia's mom. So you have a sprinkled handful, few of stories on her, which she's interesting. I think she's an interesting character, the stuff we know about. But seriously, what she get? Like a couple of children's novels? She doesn't have much in the EU. Do you own any of the non-special edition movies? Says Max Channel. Yes, Star Wars. I have the DVDs that came with the original version. Of the theatrical release. It came as a bonus feature on the B side of the DVD. I don't know how much those are going for now because everyone wants to see the original on DVD. Well, I have the original on DVD and I can watch them whenever. And they were licensed out, so they're really nice. I really like them. Next time I watch the series, I probably will watch the original version. Zodiac asks a great question. Who are you and why are you in my recommended? My name's Matt, and I'm in your recommended because in another life, we were best friends. I don't know. You like Star Wars? Do you like board games? I do a lot of Star Wars and board game reviews. So maybe so. But welcome, Zodiac. Are you familiar with Gears of War? The books and comics. I'm familiar with Gears of War, but I haven't read the books or comic books before. And it's Colin likes the prequel, and I'm 21. Yeah, that's right. You're 21. And that's totally fine. That's totally fine. People who are in their 50s hate Return of the Jedi. Hate it. I found that out. People who are about, 10 years older than me hate Return of the Jedi because they hate the Ewoks. And I love the Ewoks. Haven't seen any of the Nostalgia Critics videos about Star Wars. I don't know. I haven't. I don't know if I've seen all his stuff, Agent Grady. I've seen like a few things, but folks, if the YouTube video goes long, I'm not going to spend my time on it. I've got other things to do. I'm not trying to be mean about that, but like that other video that we talked about earlier, that was like an hour and 20 minutes. I was like, well, I mean, I'm sure he says great stuff, but gee, I don't have this time. I don't have the time. Where am I going to have the time to watch that whole thing? I have to make the time. Right now, I don't have it. My Star Wars. Do you like Indiana Jones? Yes. Like Indiana Jones. I was thinking about his expanded universe the other day. I've only read 2 of his books. I do this every year. I think the total cost would cost me about $500 to $600 to get the whole series, or $400 even. And it's not that much, but the first 2 books I got, I wasn't really that impressed. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't great. But I do like Indiana Jones, and I will see a new movie that comes out for Indiana if Harrison Ford is in it. As you know, a reboot won't see it. Well, I'm sure new canon stuff has some Padme stuff coming out, which is fine. George Lucas isn't there to make rules about it. Hello, Blanca. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad the original ones are back online. I love the prequels, and I'm 22. Yeah, there you go. That's true. Younger fans will like the prequels better, I believe, because that's what you grew up as a kid, right? And that's what you just loved, and you have good memories of it. Like I love the Ewoks, whereas someone who is a little bit older than me hates the Ewoks. Evangeline says, "Why do you think some people get so defensive over female characters of the prequel trilogy and the Clone Wars?" I don't know. Maybe because they love them, maybe because they sincerely love them. I would hope that would be the reason, but I don't have an answer for that one. Matt, do you think the little this is Quantum? Matt, do you think the little focus on Padme and the EU led to many seeing the relationship between Anakin and Padme to seem more dysfunctional than thought of? Yeah, that's true. I think so. That's a good point. Yeah, you couldn't really develop their love when we didn't know much about Padme. I can see that. Definitely for people reading the EU, I would say. I have a VCR Star Wars movies for my dad. Yeah, awesome. Oh, the old VCR. Um, oh, you said the novels from the. You don't think the novels from the original trilogy are as good as the movies? Oh well, no. The novelizations though, back then, novelizations were just supposed to write stuff, write the movie. Watch the movie and write them. Write them. Give the novel version of the movie. They weren't very creative. Sure, they had little bits and pieces, and they got to see the entire unedited film. So they even wrote about deleted scenes at times. But some of the production wasn't finished. Hence, Yoda being blue in Empire Strikes Back, the novel, and stuff like that, because they were the movie was still in development, so they didn't have a final version. I think there's something about Darth Vader's lightsaber too, and Alan Dean Foster's Star Wars novel, although I can't remember right now. But yeah, that's definitely true. Actually every prequel story novel from the novelizations of the prequel trilogy are, in my opinion, much better than the movie. Much better. Those authors do a great job adding content into those books and enhancing the movie, I should say. They enhance the movie. What's my favorite EU reference in the Star Wars movies, specifically the prequels? Well, yeah, that's where most of them were. Probably when they said that General Voss, they mentioned General Voss. They didn't show him, but they mentioned General Voss. It's like, oh, General Voss, And I kept waiting for the comic book of that storyline to come out. Rob D says McDonald's, Burger King, or Wendy's. As a kid, it would have been McDonald's. Now, oh man, McDonald's has the McRib right now, so it'd have to be McDonald's. But on a regular day, Wendy's, because I love them Frosties. And their burgers aren't so bad. Ha, did it, caught up. But you get some bonus minutes. Here's what's going on. Like in a few minutes, I gotta leave. I'm in another play, the next play after the Christmas one. I'm helping out with it. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do a read through with the new cast. We're gonna get to meet them. And then after that, I'm going to lunch, and then I'm having Sam. He's the guy from the Lego I told you about. His stuff's we're gonna do his video. I mean, recording his stuff now, and so I'll post it next week on the Prince of the Universe. But I'm really excited to hear, really excited for you to hear what he's got going on with Lego. He does Lego short films. He writes and does it for Lego. This is a man who doesn't have to buy Legos. But anyway, I got him going on, and then the missus wants to do shop at a few places. So I'm gonna take her to a few places to get some shopping. There's a few Christmas things I need, meaning we have these little tree lights that, these electric outlets where you just punch the button, you just step on it, and it turns everything on. And it's so easy. And I bought like 2 of them last Christmas, thinking I don't know if these will work, and they're phenomenal. And I need to go back. I think Dollar General had them. I need to go back and like buy 6. I'm not even playing, because I want every Christmas item we have that lights up. I want to plug it into that so we can just step on everything and just light it all up. It's so easy than having to reach underneath the tree and plug in. So I'm going to get a few of those. And the missus may we have a tree in our bedroom, and we always have one because the missus likes night lights, but we haven't gotten lights for it. I put a star on top, but I haven't plugged it in. So hopefully today we'll get some lights for it. I don't know. We'll definitely get some lights for it next week, if not sooner. But we may have to do that. And then it's board game night, which all of you are invited if you'd like to come. The more, the merrier. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm super excited. I totally forgot about board game night. I totally forgot it was Saturday. What am I doing with my life? Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah, Brandon. Darth Bane is a really good series. Quantum, you're gonna read the Glove of Darth Vader. Oh man, I cannot wait to review those books. I cannot wait to review those books. Which version of the Battle of Coruscant do you prefer, Labyrinth of Evil or the Clone Wars micro series? Oh, I like the micro. I like them both. I can't pick between those two. Micro series, I guess. Labyrinth of Evil is very good though. No thoughts on the Mandalorian show. Don't know anything about it. Do I feel like it's trying to be too much like Marvel film? I don't know. Evangeline, to be honest, I haven't kept up with the news on it. The Glove of Darth Vader series. Oh my goodness. That's some very, very early EU. Oh man, Spencer, hop in your transporter and instantly blink. Wouldn't that be awesome? You just instantly blink and be here right now. In fact, I heard Sam from who I'm going to interview is a big board gamer. So I am super interested. I probably won't ask him board game questions on the podcast unless we have time, which I doubt, because seriously, he's going to be super interesting. But I will ask him what games he's played or not. Dang, should I even invite him over? How many people do I have coming over right now? Maybe too many. I don't know. I kind of would like to have him over though. But oh yeah, I'm super excited about board game night. Woohoo! It's the best night. Talking about Glove of Darth Vader, did you ever see the fake Episode 7 trailer by Mega 64 back in the day? Says Agent Grady. No, I didn't. I didn't see it. YouTube sometimes, if I have the time, I'll watch a few things. Sometimes I don't even know they exist. If you guys send me links, I try to watch them all. If the video's too long, I just don't have time to watch it, but I do try to watch them all. Yeah, Lone Wolf was a good one. Lone Wolf was in Skywalker. Okay, yeah. Endgame thoughts. Avengers Endgame. Is that Rob D? Is that what the name is of the movie? I haven't even seen it. Yeah, I hope Avengers is better because it was a great movie, but the ending was so stupid. I hated that. Like I'm not even, no one would believe that all those heroes are dead. Why even do that? It really cheapened the movie for me. But the movie overall, besides those last 10 minutes, was great. So I'll watch it. The missus, I'm sure, going to make me watch it anyway. Darth Bane trilogy is very good. It's very good. It's funny because that's one where when they came out with the first novel, if that would have been it, I'd have been happy. But then they came out with Rule of Two, and I was like, shut up. And I never knew that was going to be a trilogy. Because when I saw the sequel, I thought, oh, it's a 2-book series, Rule of Two now. But then they did the third one. I was like, oh, look out. So I really enjoyed that. I thought that was really good. Did you see the S. Debris video on George Lucas's Rise and Fall? No, I have not. Matt, any other early EU books for recommendations? If you're talking about from the Bantam era, and Quantum, I can't remember if you were the one that asked the question earlier. I'm sorry, but Truce of Bakura, I do enjoy Dave Wolverton. I enjoy most of these books. The X-Wing trilogy, the X-Wing series, actually, with Alston and Stackpole are good. Dave Wolverton's Courtship of Princess Leia is just a classic. I wish they would have let him write some more. There's a lot of books in the Bantam series that were fun. Yeah, I agree, Rob. I think Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 would have been fine, but now everything has to have its subtitle name to sound cool and to fool people to thinking, oh, this is a new movie and not Part 2 of a previous movie. Will I be looking forward to Sword of the Jedi coming to Star Wars Celebration 2019? Ooh, yes, I'd love to see that. I think is that Sword of the Jedi? No, SWTAR. Oh, Star Wars: The Old Republic. No, I don't know. Sorry, read that wrong. See, look at my mind going to Sword of the Jedi. Dynasty of Evil is actually pretty good, and that trilogy too. I was pleasantly surprised that each one was really good, in my opinion. I liked it. Oh, you've read True Supercore. Okay, good. Kathy Tyers is really good. I already talked about one of her books, right? She's done some little stuff here and there, and she's always been, in my opinion, she's always been pretty good. Um, so I've really enjoyed her. Let me see. What else? It's starting to puddle outside. I'm gonna flood again. It's gonna flood here. Have you seen? Have you seen why the Clone Wars story didn't fit in Legends video by Cat DeForto? No, I saw that video. I saw the video title there. I didn't get to watch it. To be honest, it does, and it's just that people ignore. They want to pick out all the little inconsistencies. But again, when you look at, and we did this on the website, theexpandinguniverse.com, that we showed you where, why the Clone Wars, the Dave Filoni Clone Wars, some of it was Imperial propaganda, some of it didn't belong there, and so that kind of was their fix for the Clone Wars and why it was inconsistent with the old canon. And if you do that, then everything fits perfectly. Now you can go ahead and make your points and everything like that. That, oh no, there's so many inconsistencies. True, but are you going to, I guess you are ignoring what Fantasy Flight told you about Dave Filoni's Clone Wars. Remember, every episode of that series starts off as an Imperial propaganda film, right? War on Kamino as clone troopers go into the blah blah blah. You are basically looking at this as an Imperial news feed. So not everything that happens in there happened for a reason. And you may be saying, well, Matt, so the stupid inconsistencies, why would the Empire change that? I don't know. Maybe they got it wrong when they were retelling it. Either way, it's fine. All right, the misses. Let's talk to the misses. Hey. Okay. Do you want to say anything live on YouTube? That's all right. Okie dokie. All right, bye. And of course, there's the comment there. Even Compnor explanation doesn't make sense. That alters easily disprovable details like the geography of certain planets. To be honest, remember it's a reel, so we're getting it told from their version. And a lot of those videos, if you know those old wartime videos, were staged. There were staged fronts and fights, and well, not fights, but fronts and advances that they just wanted to get. So, in my opinion, I think it makes perfect sense. Maybe I can make a Matt Chat video about that. But anyway, that it works for me. I mean, I know there's a big, big, big outrage over the Dave Filoni's Clone Wars. I don't like it that much either. But remember what I've always said: 50% of it I thought was good. The other 50, no good. Do I have the page number? No, I think Chris put it up on the website though, theexpandinguniverse.com. I think he put it up. He put up a different article version, but I know it says that too. and there's like a little short story in there as well. Maybe someday when I have the time, I'm not going to watch a movie. I'll watch Four Doors Video, I guess. But some of the stuff he has mentioned, I already know, and I already know where he's going with it. So I'm not really. Oh, look out! Didn't mean to do that. Let's look and see. Right, we got time. We got extra time here. Not that I'm going to find it, but if I remember right, it was in the 300s. Well, there's a lot of 300s. But I just remember, let's see, temples. I don't know. I mean, I want to say I showed it on one of my videos a long time ago. Oh, I don't know. It's somewhere in here, but I remember reading it, and I remember calling a few people and reading it to them, going, "How would you interpret this?" And then going to Fantasy Flight on Gen Con that same year, I asked them, and I can't remember if Dylan or Jeremy were with me, but they remember me asking this question. And the guy from Fantasy Flight basically told me in so many words, he said, yeah, that's what they were trying to do, was fit in the Clone Wars trilogy by using that fix. Now you can say, nah, I don't like that. I still hate Clone Wars. That's fine, but Clone Wars is part of the old Legends. I mean, that was a fact. But anyway, all right. So it looks like this is it. The missus is coming back. So do I watch any other EU YouTubers? Not really. I watch a few here and there. I watch a few reviews from certain people, a few people here and there. Matt from the Geeks Attic. Let's see. I know I watch him regularly. A few other people I'll watch when they do their review just because I want to hear what they have to say. Dark Novia, I've seen your channel before. I've seen a couple of your y'all's channels too. When y'all comment, I'll look and see what y'all have on YouTube too. Sometimes I'll watch some of y'all stuff. But as EU goes, no one consistently. But not because I don't want to, but Geeks Hack is great. He's a funny dude. But yeah, those are the kind of channels I watch. Other channels I watch, of course, I watch Red Letter Media. Some podcasts that are on YouTube, I'll watch those. Some board game reviewers, I'll watch those. Rahdo, Dice Tower, what's his name? Forrest Bauer's Game Corner. That's kind of stuff. But YouTube is more important to me than TV. I watch more YouTube than TV these days because I love YouTube because you can watch whatever it is you're interested in. You can watch just that kind of stuff. So if I'm interested in hearing someone talk about the EU, I've got tons of people making tons of great content for that. If I'm interested in watching a board game review, there's tons of good people who can do that as well. But YouTube has become just better to me than TV. Yes, this is the longest stream I've done because it's December. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas and all that rot. Anyway, folks, I do hope you have a Merry Christmas. If I won't talk to you till then. I am having trouble uploading some videos for next week, so if one of them doesn't upload, I'll know that I'll maybe figure out what the deal is. But I will be uploading all videos. Matt's EU. I've been editing them. I edited some this weekend. I tried to post a few. That's what I'm having issues with right now. But we'll get that all taken care of. And y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend and an excellent rest of your day. See you later.